The spirit box is a tool that scans radio stations to generate white noise. And the theory is spirits can use the white noise to speak to us in real time over the spirit box speaker. Now, in theory, this is a really interesting piece of equipment to be able to communicate with spirits in real time, and you can hear their voices so that you can get an idea of who you may be dealing with. And it changes kind of how you would approach an investigation. Instead of having a line of questions you plan to ask that's location specific, you may be wanting to communicate with John Smith, who built the location you're at in 1715. So you have all these questions, and when you go back and review the EVP, there's female voices, there's little children voices, but you don't hear the voice that you assume is John Smith's. But with the spirit box, you would know, okay, John Smith must not be here. Let me ask some different questions and try to figure out who these people are. And that opens up an investigation to so much more, because if you're acknowledging the pretty much any and all spirits that speak over the spirit box, that may encourage more spirits to make their presence known, whether it's through the spirit box, showing themselves as shadow people, orbs, however they show themselves, making a sound, just making their presence known. But of course, the spirit box, there's some things that hold it back from being a really, really good piece of equipment. The first off, of course, is the radio stations, the whole point to it almost. There are devices out there that do almost exactly what the spirit box does without the radio stations, like the white noise generator, which in theory the white noise generator should make the spirit box almost obsolete because it generates white noise, but it doesn't have the bleed through of the radio stations, any other signals, walkie-talkies, whatever the spirit box can pick up. So the white noise generator, already right off the bat, it seems like it's the better piece of equipment. Now, on our investigations, we use the PSB7 Spirit Box, which is it's not an old model, but it's one of the older models of Spirit Boxes that were made. And when we first heard about the Spirit Box years ago, we were both very skeptical. Of course, we've said this in our videos, but time and time again, the Spirit Box has proven to be an effective tool on investigations, whether it's given very location-specific answers, answering very specific questions about not just the location, but about the equipment we're using, our names. We've even had some spirits mention stuff that's going on in our lives that, radio DJs and people on radio, they wouldn't know about. So I do believe the Spirit Box can be used as a legitimate tool for paranormal investigations. Now, what I'm about to talk about is my personal opinion, our personal opinion. You may have a setup with Spirit Box, your equipment that's different, and that's fine. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions. This is mine. So, testing all the Spirit Box scans and all that stuff, the one that I found works the best is 100 milliseconds on backward sweep. Sometimes we mix it up forward to backward, but 100 milliseconds is the fastest on FM that the Spirit Box can go, and it pretty much eliminates all radio bleed through that you can discern. Like, you're not going to be able to make out full sentences by radio DJs. You might get the occasional one word, but it's a very quick word, and you kind of have to reach in order to say you heard it. So, my personal opinion, I think if you're going to use a Spirit Box on the FM, I would personally use 100 milliseconds on the backward sweep. That way also, there's not going to be intelligent words coming across because everything's backwards. It's going to sound garbled. So if you do get an intelligent voice that says a sentence, says a word, and it's not talking in reverse, then unless a radio station is trying some new experimental thing, you may be talking to a spirit. Now, of course, there are a lot of spirit boxes on the market, and some of them they do different things, but a lot of them they kind of do the same thing just with a few extra bells and whistles attached. When we investigated the Exchange Hotel on Halloween of last year, we tried out the PSB 11 Spirit Box for the very first time. And it was an interesting concept where you have two sweeps going at the same time. And this actually, the PSB 11 goes down to 50 milliseconds, which I was thinking, this is going to be awesome because we thought 100 milliseconds is great for getting rid of radio bleed through. 50 milliseconds is going to be 100 times better. But oddly enough, it wasn't. The Spirit Box, of course, it's well known for the ch-ch-ch-ch sound. And it is annoying to the ear. But throughout the course of an investigation, you do kind of get used to it. For me, I'm usually used to it within about 5 to 10 minutes is when it kind of just drowns out for me. But something with the PSB 11 is I guess the ch-ch sound was really, really obvious up front and very annoying. It was loud. It's where it kind of took everything else away from it. And when we tried the dual scans, it was kind of a mess. So I think for now, when it comes to spirit boxes, we're going to stick with the PSB 7. There are some other spirit boxes out there on the market that we would definitely like to try one day just because they do have some interesting features. Like I know one that keeps popping up is the Sangean, which a lot of people have told me is the best spirit box ever made. They're pretty rare. There's only a few on the internet, which, it would be pretty cool to own one just to try it out and see if it really is that good. People also talk about the Joe's box, which is also known to be one of, if not the best spirit box out there. But there's so many spirit boxes, ITC devices to choose from. But with spirit box, you do have to have a healthy skepticism. Even if you do get voices coming across, you do kind of keep that skepticism because there's always that chance that it is radio bleed through, that something may go wrong in the scanning algorithm. However it scans, something may go wrong, and for a few seconds it won't scan at full speed, and so for 1 or 2 seconds you do hear radio DJ. There's so many factors that come into play with the spirit box, and I think that's kind of what keeps it from being a really, really, really good and a must-have piece of equipment for investigations. Now, of course, nothing can beat classic straight-up EVP. Setting a voice recorder down, no one else is in the room except for the investigators, and there's a voice that belongs to someone who wasn't in the room at the time. It's really, really hard to beat that. But the Spirit Box comes very close to that because it provides that and also in real time so that you can deal with any situation, good or bad, that may arise that Spirit Box will let you know about. So, what are your thoughts on the Spirit Box? Do you own a Spirit Box? What model Spirit Box do you have? What model Spirit Box would you like to own? And just what are your concerns, praise for the Spirit Box? And let us know in the comments. But I want to thank everyone for watching this video. Hope you all have a great day.